My name is Jonathan Chubb. I'm from Esdebe, and I'm joined today with from ALVAO with Jan Škrabánek. And what we'd like to show you is how we can help you transform your service desk into a major company asset that helps your business or organization thrive and move forward efficiently. Before we get started, I'd like to just do some housekeeping. That is, first of all, this session is being recorded and will be made available on the ALVAO and Esdebe websites. So if you'd like to refer to it or share it with your colleagues, then please do. We're very happy for you to do that. And if you want to get in touch with either of us or any of us from ALVAO or Esdebe about what you see today, then please do. The second point is that we will be taking questions, and so there's a Q&A button up at the top, if you can see that up there. And so please feel free to ask questions. If they are particularly about the subject we're talking about, we'll take them there and then. If they're general questions that we can handle afterwards, then we'll do it we'll cover them off at the end of the session. So without any more ado, I'd like to just hand over to Jan and ask him to introduce yourself, please, Jan, and tell us a little bit about the background of ALVAO.
Absolutely. So, hi everyone. I just a note for our marketing team. There was a comment that there's no audio for some of the attendees. But as for me, my name is Jan. I'm a business development manager here at ALVAO. Before that, I've spent years in technical roles, so I've done solution implementation, technical support, and I'd like to first of all introduce ALVAO a bit, and then give you the walkthrough of the solution. So about us as a company, we have two main products: service desk and asset management. And the beauty of them is that they actually work quite well together. So you can have your service desk and IT asset management solution on one platform. And if you have that, you can benefit from some extra synergies between these two products. Besides that, since the early days, ALVAO has been focused around Microsoft. So the application is integrated into Microsoft 365. It runs on Microsoft Azure, and it has the Microsoft look and feel, which you will see in a moment as well. We've been on the market for over 20 years, and we've been serving global companies. So you might recognize, for instance, Veolia, Esdebe, or Škoda. And that's pretty much just a quick intro about ourselves. Back to you, Jonathan.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. And there are many ways in which service desk and asset management has developed over the years. But the important thing for the users is when they're needing help, they want to be able to get their help request as efficiently as possible into the service desk. Can you show us how ALVAO integrates with, just show us how ALVAO is presented to the clients in the self-service portal, and give us just an overview from the client's perspective, please?
Absolutely. So let me share the screen again. We're going to take a look actually at how the employees use ALVAO and the portal, and then how the IT team and the agents use ALVAO. So first of all, we are starting here on the self-service portal, and the self-service portal is just one of the channels that the employees can use to actually raise a ticket. And straight away, you should be noticing that it has the Microsoft look and feel. So this really helps with your user adoption. If your employees are used to use Outlook, Teams, or SharePoint, they will have no problem navigating through ALVAO. It's not built on SharePoint. It's our own application that's hosted on Microsoft Azure, but has that Microsoft UX feel to it. Obviously, when your employees are using the portal, they can just write a note into the search bar, and it will then lead them to self-service. So search through knowledge articles, past requests, and then allow them to raise a ticket. They can check for current news, anything that's going on. But what I want to particularly show you is this neat little section, My Assets, which is actually where the connection between IT asset management part and the service desk part comes into play. So they actually can see all the assets that are entrusted to them, be it mobile phones, computers, SIM cards, and any attributes that you wish to make visible to your employees, you can just make visible. But it goes actually further than that, because they can actually raise a ticket directly from the entrusted assets on this page. So let's say my phone has a broken glass. I want to report it to the IT. I just click report an incident, and the device, as you can see in here, is automatically attached to the ticket. So that was kind of a view from the employee point of view. This is how they would work with the self-service portal. Now let's take a look how the agent works with the ticket. So they can basically check all the details. The subject is automatically generated based on the fields that were filled. They can check the workflow that is assigned. In this case, it's very simple. But the important part here, they can check that that asset, the device that it relates to, and they can just click on it and see the full view from the IT asset management part. You can see all kinds of attributes. Anything you wish to track for your assets or objects is possible to track. But what I want to focus on is that the benefit of this is the better user experience. If you don't have this information straight at hand, you need to ask your user, like, what phone do you have? What's the system on it? When the warranty expires? What's the service tag? These are the questions that you should know already. You don't need to ask them the user. So for the better user experience and for your convenience, you have everything at hand. You have also an access to all past incidents that were actually raised related to this particular device. So for instance, you can see we've had several incidents with this one already. Maybe we don't want to repair it. Let's buy a new one. Or it helps you diagnosis. So typically, if a user raised the problem with the battery, my battery is overheating, you change the battery and they are raising the same request a month later, probably the problem is not in the battery. I should look further for the diagnosis. So that's the part where you check the details about the asset. But then there's the more practical question, where do I find this asset? So if you have a more complex environment, you have multiple locations, and the employees can raise the tickets from anywhere, that's what this part I'm going to show you helps you with. So by clicking this arrow that we just clicked, we actually get to this area, and this is what we call the asset tree. It's very similar to Active Directory if you are used to working with that. And the idea is for you to actually structure your company within the asset management. So you have this visual look of your company, and you really know where everything is, who owns it. This is much more comprehensible for your brain than having a form view similar to Excel spreadsheet. But it also allows you to manage the whole asset lifecycle, because you can just drag and drop, and really from the procurement of the device through switching it between users to its decommission, you can really manage everything with the help of this asset tree. And it also helps you with the data quality as well. So if you take a look, some of the attributes are actually taken directly from the tree. So for instance, this phone, we now know that it belongs to James. And it's in this, James is actually located in A05 office, which is part of the IT department. So you can see that these are actually translated into attributes on this attribute part. So if we just take that phone and move it to a different user, all these attributes will actually change automatically based on the position in the tree. So this will helps you with the data quality and saves you some manual effort, because let's be honest, if you track these things manually, sooner or later, you kind of stop tracking them because it's just too much manual labor. That's why we need a bit of an optimization in here. And then once you actually assign a phone or laptop or anything to your employee, you probably want to create a handover protocol to make sure that it's understood between you and your employee that these are the things that are entrusted to them, and that's what you are going to want from them when they are actually leaving the company. So in this case, we can just print a handover protocol and we can have it signed either via paper or, to be green, via web. So we have the handover protocol printed, we send it to James in this case, and James will just log into the portal and sign the protocol. The last thing that I'm going to show you is the log. So everything that just happened, you know, all the movements, attribute changes, printing the handover protocol, everything is tracked in this log. So you have full audit trail for each of your objects, and you have that history accessible whenever you need to. So back to you, Jonathan.
Well, thank you very much. That's really comprehensive, Jan. And you can see that by having the asset tracking and the help desk integrated into one solution, you can really help with the workflow with asset management as users join and leave and your company goes forwards. So thank you for that. Many companies are very dependent on Microsoft Outlook, and having an integration with Microsoft 365 enables you to develop the integration with Outlook. Could you give us an overview of that, please? And so that
Sure.
how people can interact with Service Desk from Outlook?
So that's actually most popular integration with Microsoft we have, or most popular module, and I will show you how that works in a minute. So hopefully you should see the screen again, and what we are looking at is your Outlook, and then there's this part on the right, which is the Outlook add-in. And what happens there is that your IT support team, they are working through Service Desk, but they are still probably receiving a lot of messages into their inbox. So this leads to a situation where they need to switch between apps constantly, and that's just annoying. So the solution, you can just have this Outlook add-in directly in your Outlook, and that allows you to work with a ticket. And practically, whenever someone sends you an email, there's this service tag, and based on that service tag, the Outlook add-in recognizes this is related to this particular ticket, and you have that full context at hand. You can check the ticket and everything that's been going on in there. And all actions you can do via portal, you can do through Outlook add-in as well. But it doesn't end there. Sometimes you have like bigger projects, maybe more complex tickets, and a lot of people are involved in the conversation, and they tend to send messages directly to you. And they don't add that service tag, but you still want to track the message in the audit trail of the ticket. So for those cases, the Outlook add-in again tries to help you and understand what ticket this relates to. They just suggest tickets based on your past communication with the user, and you can save the email in the mailbox just in a second. And if you can take a look, we picked a quite complex formatting for an example in here. So this is really how you would save the email into Service Desk. It's full rich text, full HTML. It really looks one-to-one with your Outlook. And then we can actually take a look at additional example, and that's one that happened all over the world in all IT departments. So you are trying to have sanctified channels, how your employees can raise a ticket, but still they know you personally, you've helped them before, so they send the message directly to you. And then if you have the direct approach, you can go, no, please go and raise the ticket via portal or via any other channel that's sanctified. But maybe sometimes you want to be more user-friendly. You can just actually raise a ticket directly from Outlook. It takes you 5 seconds with ALVAO. You raise the ticket. The sender is the requester, can be edited, of course. The subject is the ticket name, can be edited as well. You just pick a service, and instead of directing them to the portal, you just raise a ticket for them. So if that's something that kind of aligns with your approach to user support, that can be used as well. And then the last thing that I want to show you is the calendar. So the same thing really applies into your calendar. Say you have a meeting with your user, you want to maybe direct to them via TeamViewer or any other way, and you want to quickly check up, get up to speed before the meeting, what's that all about. So you just click on the event in your calendar, and just you can scroll the full context of the ticket, get ready for that meeting. And the same way, you just actually can raise calendar meetings from Outlook add-in that have that service tag. So it allows you to really communicate through through Outlook, but still have that audit trail, track everything in Service Desk. And that's it for this part of the Outlook add-in.
Thank you for that, Jan. And so what we've seen there is how the user interacts with the service desk directly through Outlook, and the various options that they have for handling the call from either from the support desk side for familiar clients, but I would think that in many cases we wouldn't want to encourage that sort of background behavior, although we all know that it happens for those clients that have a particular status within the customer, that within the client base that have that familiar sort of "we'll do that for you" kid gloves sort of approach. So it's very handy that that's made so easy. Another development that's happened more recently and had a massive pickup since the COVID pandemic is Teams, and the amount of companies that are using Teams, and now that wouldn't want to do without it. So how does ALVAO integrate with Teams, and what are the options there?
So it's exactly as you say, Jonathan. Teams is now seeing so much uptake, and we actually have customers that are using Teams more than Outlook these days for communication, and this trend is only going to accelerate as the new generations are moving into the workspace. So as for the Teams, what we allow you to do is to share tickets via Teams, to raise a ticket from Teams communication, to start the chat the other way around, to start the chat from service desk into Teams. But maybe the most interesting thing is that we actually allow your employees to raise the ticket directly through Teams. And while this is sort of a simple thing from the Outlook, it's the very important in a way that your employees are spending most of their days in Teams, and the difference that they can just click a button in Teams, raise a ticket there. They don't have to bookmark URL for your portal. They don't have to log in anywhere. They just know, if I want to contact IT for support, it's in my Teams. That makes a huge difference in the adoption of the proper channels to raise a ticket. So this is the Teams, and it's also an area that we actually put a lot of focus right now. So you're going to see some future improvements as well. Back to you, Jonathan.
Thank you for that. So now we know that we can use Teams to raise service desk requests as well. The next thing that is really a major part of any company is managing starters and leavers, and tracking the process of starters, getting all their assets ready for them, the logins, the location, and all the elements of security and functionality that go to setting up a user for day one of starting, so they have a smooth experience of turning up at a company and knowing that they were expected and that things were prepared for them. All these things go to promote the way the company presents itself to new staff, which is becoming more and more important as staff become more critical and expect more of their employees, and rightly so. But so as ALVAO and the ITSM solution that we provide can help with that, could you give us an overview of that and show us how it works?
Sure, I can. So as you mentioned, starters leavers is a massive challenge for most companies I get to speak with. And the reason for that is that in order to have that smooth employee experience, when the newcomer comes on a day one, they have the place ready for them, they have a laptop, they have accesses, someone gives them a starter pack, perhaps like brief introduction. That just requires several people, several teams to coordinate. In larger companies, there can be up to 20 people involved. So to coordinate that, that's just a hard task. And what very often happens is that you have a newcomer coming, and the first moment the IT learns about the newcomers is that they are knocking on the door. Where is my laptop? Where is my access to the CRM? And the IT only learns that day. So it shouldn't be that way. Particularly for this reason, ALVAO actually gives you a way how to handle that. So first of all, we haven't seen the service catalog yet. So this is how ALVAO service catalog looks like. And that's just another channel how your employees can raise a ticket. And what you can notice in here, this is not just IT service catalog. This is actually containing other departments as well. And thanks to ALVAO licensing, where we license you for whole company, and then anyone can be an agent. It's just, no extra cost to adding other departments to your service desk as well. And that comes really handy for starters and leavers workflow, because you have some people that are only responsible for a couple of tasks. There might be a manager that just approves things. There might be some person that just, prepares the place for the newcomer. So you don't have to buy an agent license for them. It's already covered in our general license. And as for the scenario in general, you just have a form that you either connect to your HR system or that your HR person fills in, and they fill all the required training, the assets and accesses that will be required, the department, and there's a logic behind on the background, and based on the logic how the company is set up, you actually once you confirm the form, you get one master ticket. And this is the place where you will track the progress of the starter process yourself or the person responsible for it. And then all the tasks necessary for the particular person in that particular department get created as well. So you have one place to track them from and make sure everything is really ready on day one when that newcomer arrives. Back to you, Jonathan.
Thank you. So that could be really, really helpful for companies helping to manage their starter and leaver process. And also, as you've seen before, the moving of assets from one person who may be leaving and assigning them to a new person who may be joining. That's all handled with a drag and drop type of approach, unless you have a workflow for it. So there's plenty of options for handling your assets and tying that in with your staff.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone has got any questions that they'd like us to handle, please feel free to shout out now. It's good to see so many of you here, and thanks for joining us. And yeah, so please feel free to ask any questions you've got.
It seems like we don't have a question as yet. Okay. So there's one.
Here we have a question.
Okay, so for the item part, do you have any kind of discovery tool? Okay, so what we have is our own discovery agent. So there's a couple of ways actually. The item part connects to Active Directory. And by the way, the whole system connects to Active Directory. So there's a single sign-on. Your employees will never have to log into ALVAO. If they log into Windows, they'll be in. But we have the integration with Active Directory. We have the integration with Microsoft SCCM. And then we also have our own agent. And it's an autonomous agent that can actually communicate via HTTPS. And that just gets installed on the end devices and then sends the hardware scan, software scan into the server.
Okay, thank you for that, Jan. And thank you for your question. Any more questions that you'd like to know about? Okay.
Okay, so there's a question regarding Intune. Will ALVAO connect to Intune to update details of end-user devices? Yeah. So this is something that we will be releasing in April. So Intune obviously is a thing that a lot of companies are now using, and we will be able to actually connect and integrate with Intune as well to get your mobile phones and other devices.
So there's a question about what sets ALVAO apart from the crowd.
Okay, so what sets us apart? That's always a nice question to have. I'd say three things really. First, it's the way how we are integrated with Microsoft. We are just really Microsoft focused vendor. Then it's the ITEM and ITSM working together. So a lot of ITSM vendors have strong leaning towards either ITSM or ITEM. With us, it's a couple of major solutions that are communicating with each other. And then the last bit is the licensing. The licensing for the whole company, and then anyone can be an agent. It's just something that allows you to manage the workflows like starters levers with no additional costs.
So there's another question here about Teams integration. What are the plans going ahead with Teams integration in terms of features?
So the Teams integration for us is one of the key ones at this moment, because we can see that's an area that has given so big uptake, and it's also an area that's kind of still setting up. Companies are trying different approaches to Teams, and for us, the plan is to be actually monitoring this very closely, working with our clients that are using Teams, and actually moving toward a way where you can manage the whole workflow through Teams, notification, communication, and just support the scenarios that are relevant for ITSM.
Okay.
There's also a question: are there additional modules for principles like change, problem management? Okay, that's a very good one as well. So we are actually certified for by Ping Verify and Serviu and even Axelos for the major ITIL processes. So when you purchase ALVAO, you get the basic incident, problem, change, item processes out of the box. You have the out of box general workflows. You have CMDB, and you can then modify them, configure them with no coding, or just a configuration to suit your needs.
Okay, the next question is about does a mobile app use 2FA, or is it integrated to Microsoft 365 2FA?
Okay, so there's currently not a dedicated mobile app, but what we have is that it's all done in a responsive design. So it's all usable from your phone in a way that's ergonomic and user friendly.
Okay, so the next question is where's the next question gone? There's yes. So can we use a solution as a service desk in order to give service to our customers?
Yeah, thank you for that one. It's absolutely possible. It's not kind of the main area we focus on, but we have customers that use it just for that. The licensing is a bit different for it, but that's kind of for a separate discussion. So the answer is it's mainly for internal use, but it's absolutely possible if it fits your needs and your setup. You have customers that do that for this case.
Okay. Any more questions? Did I see another one come in there? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, any more? Is that another question?
I don't think so. I think that's it for the moment.
Okay, all right, fine. So thank you very much to everyone who's spent time with us, and it's good to see so many of you here, and thank you for that. As I mentioned earlier, the session has been recorded, and we will be making it available on both Esdebe and ALVAO websites. So please feel free to share and forward to your colleagues, and if you've got any questions coming around from that, then we're here. We're very happy to talk to you further about it, and that we will be sending out a survey afterwards just to get your feedback on what we've shown you and how it's been presented, and if you take the time to respond to that, it'd be hugely appreciated. So thank you for your time. Have a good day, everybody, and let your service desk